Yo, what's good, boys? It is Yap MMA. We are back with another video. Today, I'm going to be giving you guys my full card breakdown and predictions for UFC Vegas 107. You already know we're back in the Apex again, man. Week off, and we come back. Bunch of cancellations. I wasn't going to do a full card breakdown, man, but there's been so many rescheduling, so many cancellations on this card, so many switching of opponents that I genuinely have to. After my quick picks this past week, man, I think 3 or 4 fights have changed since then. Opponents have been switched, fights have been canceled. So I'm gonna go ahead and break down this entire card, man. Before we go ahead and get into it, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Let's start it off with the early prelim opener of Rayen dos Santos versus Alice Ardelin. I already broke down this fight. There's not much more to be said about it. I'm gonna be honest. It's a horrible fight. It's a weak, low level WMMA fight, but since it's very low WMMA, we are going to have ourselves maybe a little bit of a scrap. Maybe, maybe. I don't think there's going to be a finish. I would bet my life on it almost that there's no finish in this fight, but I think it'll be an okay fight. I think it'll be okay. Brian Dos Santos, I think, is the crisper, more talented MMA fighter, but I do believe that Alice Ardelin does have some dog in her. She does have some dog in her. Rayen dos Santos is the younger fighter, the fresher fighter. The records are disgusting. I mean, look at that 14-8 and 9-7. How do we even have any fighters in the UFC with a record of 9-7 or 14-8, Brutal records, absolutely brutal records, but this fight is booked. It's booked. It's the opening fight. Don't place your money on this. Please don't bet on this fight. This could be a 50-50. I see this fight being a 50-50, honestly. I'm siding with Rayen dos Santos for sure. Younger fighter, more talented fighter in my opinion. Not necessarily more experienced, but more talented, I believe, is Rayen dos Santos. And Alice Ardelin, she just kind of has some grit. She can bite down on the mouth guard. She can come at you. Her last fight was very close. Both these women have not won in the UFC yet. The only thing that worries me a little bit is that Rayen dos Santos lost to Puja Tomar. Not the best look, but Puja's not horrible. She's not horrible, right? And that fight was close, and Rayen dos Santos' fight before was very close as well. Alice Ardelin also had a close fight the fight before. I just feel like this is going to be the same kind of feeling, very close fight. Maybe a split, or maybe just a robbery unanimous decision, something really close here. But I'm going to side with Rayen dos Santos to get it done. I think she's the better MMA fighter. She's going to be cleaner on the feet. And I think Alice Ardelin is only in the UFC because of her Instagram and I think she's got a TikTok or something. I think the only reason she's in the UFC is because of her online presence. And yeah, I think she's probably going to get cut if she loses to Rayen dos Santos. She better get cut. I mean, imagine 9-8 would be a horrible record in the UFC. It'd just be like, this is the best promotion in mixed martial arts, and we've got a 9-7 UFC fighter. So I'm just nothing else to say on this one. I'm going Rayen dos Santos by unanimous decision. We move on, man. I wasted way too much time on that. Blazioki, Mikel. Is it Mikel or Michelle? I'm gonna go Michelle as well, man. So this is a fight where there was a replacement of opponents. It was supposed to be Markel Medeiros versus Blazioki. Unfortunately, Medeiros had to pull out. What am I saying? I don't know why he pulled out, to be honest, but he did pull out, and now we've got Blazioki versus Mikel Aswell. I think this is an easy pick. I'm going Blazioki by TKO. Look, Mikel Aswell coming in very short notice. He's moving up to lightweight as well. He's a featherweight. He's moving up to lightweight. Not the best look, especially against a very physical guy in Blazioki, who is very dangerous and will probably march forward. I don't see Mikel Aswell having any chance of catching Blazioki at any point in this fight. I've watched a little bit of tape on Mikel. He's not bad. He's definitely a decent striker. Doesn't have a very strong ground game. And I think Blazioki is just going to be the more physically imposing guy in there and the more dangerous guy by far. Full training camp, and he's going to be ready to go. I think this is a bounce back win for Blazioki after his last loss to Chris Duncan. I think he gets a big win here, and he gets a knockout over Mikel Aswell, who's making his debut. We move on to another guy making his debut, Andreas Gustafsson versus Trevin Giles. God, Giles, why you always got to do this, man? Trevin Giles stepped in on short notice to face Andreas Gustafsson. I broke this one down already, but Trevin Giles, man, it's just tough when he's always taking these short notice fights. He's a full-time police officer, and I believe he's a full-time police officer still. He was, at least. I think he still is, and he just does the fighting as a side gig, right? Like, UFC is not his main profession. It's not his main job. It's not what he focuses on the most, and it's not what he's not looking to be UFC champion. You know, Trevin Giles is just coming in every now and then to get that paycheck and to stick around in the UFC. He answers the call. He agrees whenever the UFC calls him, man. Whenever they need somebody on short notice, they call Trevin Giles. So I just think Giles is going to get just outmaneuvered here against Gustafsson. I think Gustafsson's very big. He's very big for the division. And I mean, they're at a catch weight here. Gustafsson is massive. Trevin Giles he's been fighting big guys. He's been fighting these prospects, and it just never works out for him. I think this is going to be the same case. Andres Gustafsson isn't as good as former guys that he's fought, like Carlos Prates, Mike Malott, who else? DDP. You know, he's fought a lot of these really good guys on the come up. I don't know if Andreas Gustafsson is that level, but he's a Swedish guy, very big for the division. Like I said, he's powerful. He's got a lot of knockouts. He can push you up against the cage. He can kind of bully you because he's just really strong. I think he'll be able to do that against Giles. Giles does have really good technique, very clean striking, and he's always winning a fight or looking great, right? And then he just either pulls away and starts losing, or he just gets TKO'd, and I think that might be the case here. I'm going to go Andres Gustafsson by TKO. I think Trevin Giles he's just kind of had it, man. 3-fight losing streak now. He's been taking these short notice fights, tough opponents, and Andres Gustafsson is not any easier than a lot of these other guys he's fought, so especially on short notice, man. So I'm going to go Gustafsson by TKO. We move on. Kurt Hollabaugh, Jordan Levitt. Tough one to predict. Really tough one to predict. Like, on this card, that's the one thing about this Vegas card. Very tough fights to predict. Really close. Even though a lot of the odds are, like, not too close, all the fights I believe are close. I think most of the fights on this card are very, very close and could be a 50-50 for the most part. I think this fight is kind of a 50-50 because we don't know what we're going to get here. Kurt Hollabaugh, you know, good striker, pretty solid on the feet, got power in his hands, but not one-punch knockout power, but he has a lot of pressure, can walk you down. He's got good cardio. He's got great striking. And Jordan Levitt, on the other hand, is kind of a BJJ guy who will fall on his back, will kind of lay on the ground looking to try to get your leg, get your arm, get a submission off of his back. And he also wants to get this fight to the ground, but his takedowns are horrible. I think he's got a 25 to 30% takedown ratio, I'm pretty sure, which is just horrible. It's horrible for a BJJ guy. You know, he does not have the entries on his takedowns, and that does benefit Kurt Hollabaugh. But when this one was booked, I was kind of leaning Kurt Hollabaugh, and I think Kurt has a chance to win. My problem is that in his last fight, I mean, he got held down pretty long against his last opponent, and I just don't know if that'll be the same case here. He's a lot older than Jordan Levitt. You know, his record isn't the best. He's definitely taken some close losses, and I think this could be a close loss as well. Really difficult one. I'm going to regret picking against Kurt because I hope I don't regret picking against Kurt, but I'm going to go Jordan Levitt by decision. You know, I do think that Kurt Hollabaugh's got a solid chance to win this fight, and if he can do the more damage, he can win. But in his last fight, he was in the Apex as well, and he did do a lot of the damage, but he lost by getting held down by Hernandez, right? So I'm kind of worried that he will get held down, and Jordan Levitt's much younger. I think he's 28, 29 years old. Kurt Hollabaugh, 37 to 38, I'm pretty sure, around those ages there. So there's almost a 10-year age difference here. Kurt Hollabaugh has struggled to get decisions go his way, even in the Apex, when they're basing it off damage. Even with takedowns, he's lost those decisions. So I don't know. I'm going to go Jordan Levitt by decision, man. But Kurt Hollabaugh is a solid underdog pick here, boys. We move on, though. Hafel, or is it Jaffel son? I'm just going to go Hafel son, Alan Nascimento, man. Good fight. Very, very good fight. I like this one. Great prelim main event, honestly. I do like this matchup, and I think it's a very close fight. I think this will be a fun fight, a scrap. Hafel son, great finisher everywhere. Pause. Pause. He's a great fighter. He's a great fighter. He's able to get finishes here and there, and he is kind of finish or bust. This guy, we don't see him go to the scorecards very often. He usually gets a submission, maybe a TKO. His past two or three, I think past two fights have been by sub. He subbed Ode Osborne, good win. And he subbed somebody else, I forget who it was, but Alan Nascimento as well is coming off of a submission win over Carlos Hernandez, but that was 2 years ago. Alan Nascimento hasn't fought in 2 years. But I do think Alan Nascimento is the better MMA fighter. I think Hafel son's very tough. He's a great finisher. He's pretty dynamic. Nascimento's a bit bigger. He hasn't fought in a while, but I do think these shoot to box guys stay very active. I mean, we just saw Daniel Daniel Santos. We just saw Daniel Santos at UFC 315. Shoot the box guy didn't fight for 2 years straight. Bunch of cancellations like Alan Nascimento, right? Nascimento's had like four cancellations straight. And it was the same thing with Daniel Santos. Had a bunch of cancellations, 2 year layoff. People were doubting him. They all picked against him. I mean, I was close to picking against him, but I kind of rode with him. I was like, I think he will be the better fighter. And that was the case. I mean, he stayed active while being injured and while having to cancel a bunch of fights and a bunch of matchups. And I think that's the same thing. Alan Nascimento's been active. I've been keeping up with him on Instagram. I've been checking and seeing his stories and his posts and stuff. He's been training. It's not like he's just been laying off every time there's a fight canceled. A couple of the cancellations have been his fault, but a couple have not as well, right? So I think Rafael Sun is actually a favorable matchup for Alan Nascimento. I think Nascimento will be able to find success on the feet. And on the ground, I think the BJJ will cancel out. Nascimento is more of a guy to look for your neck, look for a rear naked choke, maybe, maybe a guillotine. Rafael Sun is looking for something like an arm bar or maybe a leg lock. He's looking for something off of his back. He can get rear nakeds as well, but I don't see either of these guys subbing each other. I do think the BJJ will kind of cancel itself out, and I do think we'll have ourselves a striking matchup where I think Alan Nascimento is the bigger guy, the better striker, and I think he's going to push the pace on Rafael Sun and win the rounds and win the end of the rounds for sure. And I think he'll get himself a decision. I'm going to go Alan Nascimento by decision, but Rafael Sun is a solid underdog, and he is live for a finish. But Alan Nascimento has never been finished in 26 professional fights. He's never been finished. He only loses by decision, and we have not seen Rafael Sun go the distance in a very long time. I don't even know if he has ever gone the distance, but he's never gone the distance in the UFC, and he might have to do that against Alan Nascimento, where Nascimento I think will have the better cardio and he'll be able to carry this fight out into the later rounds and win the ends of those rounds and win those necessary rounds. The second and third, I think he'll take for sure. Rafael Sun might start strong, but I think Alan Nascimento will finish stronger, man. I'm going to go Alan Nascimento by unanimous decision. To end off the prelims, we move on to the main card. Zachary Reese versus Dusko Todorovic, man. Shit. Tough fight to predict. I mean, I picked Zachary Reese. I'm still going to pick Zachary Reese. I think it is difficult because Dusko Todorovic, he could win this fight. It's definitely possible he could win this fight, but Dusko has taken a lot of damage recently. I had to rewatch some of his fights. He just kind of becomes a human punching bag at some point, and he doesn't seem like he should be a middleweight, honestly. He is quite big, but I do feel like him at welterweight would suit him a lot better if he was somehow able to cut that weight. He is big at 6'1", but Zachary Reese is bigger at 6'4". Really good reach, really long reach for Zachary Reese. Dynamic kicks, really nice strikes. The only thing that worries me, like I talked about in my quick picks when I pick Zachary Reese, is the IQ. I hate picking Zachary Reese based off that IQ, man. He got slammed by Cody Brundage. Okay, you know what? You messed up one time. You tried to play the BJJ game. You got KO'd. Okay, it's okay. But his last fight against Azamat Bakoyev tried to play the BJJ game again and got TKO'd on the ground. So Zachary Reese, I don't have much trust in him, I'll be honest. But I do think this kind of is calling for a Zachary Reese round 1 TKO. Dusko Todorovic, like I said, kind of small for the division. I think Zachary Reese much bigger, much better striker, much more powerful, will walk you down. You need to really put your respect out there immediately. Put respect on Reese. Otherwise, he will just piece you up on the feet. And I think that'll be the case. I think Reese will KO Dusko Todorovic relatively easily. And I mean, bro, I can't get over it. Dusko, I'm just going to forget his name, bro. Dusko, every time I look at this dude, man, all I see is the thumb. All I see is the thumb from Spy Kids, man. I can't get over it. This guy just looks like the thumb from Spy Kids, bro. If you put your thumb on his face and you can't see his face, he just looks like the thumb, bro. Like I can't get over it. Dude's build is funny. He does look a little funny, but I do think Zachary Reese will get this one done by TKO, man. I'm gonna call it a round 1 TKO for Zachary Reese. The under 1.5 is like solid money, honestly. I think it's the best way to go is the under 1.5 rounds on this fight. I don't see this one going the distance. But yeah, Zachary Reese by round 1 TKO, maybe a body shot, and it cripples Dusko Todorovic, and then he finishes him on the ground. We move on, though. Ketlen Vieira versus Macy Chiasson. Actually not a bad fight for the division. It's important for bantamweight. If Macy wins this fight, she'll probably get a title shot, or she'll be very close to it. So this is an important fight. And it's important in the Apex. We got a few fights that actually matter in the rankings in the Apex for once, so it is interesting. And Ketlen Vieira, I don't rate Ketlen Vieira whatsoever. I think Ketlen Vieira is a bad MMA fighter. I'm going to just keep it a buck. I'm not going to really dive into it. I don't think she has the skills to be at the top of the MMA, at the top of the UFC bantamweight division. I don't think she should ever contend for a title again. Honestly, I think Ketlen Vieira is super, super overrated. And I think Ketlen Vieira has been lucky to be at the position that she's been in. She got beat badly by Kayla Harrison. I mean, just literally let her do whatever she wanted. Ketlen Vieira has also lost to, I think she lost to Raquel Pennington. Of course, that's former champ, but Ketlen Vieira, all her performances, I had to rewatch some of her performances. They've just been so lackluster, so boring and unimpressive. You know, at least Macy Chiasson is trying to find finishes. She's going for elbows. Just elbow TKO'd Mayra Bueno Silva, cut her on the eyelid really brutally. She got a submission off before that. Like, she's going into the fire to try to get a finish, to try to make it fun. And I respect that. I respect that. I enjoy that. So I'm going Macy Chiasson. You know, I think she's going to get it done over Ketlen Vieira. Vieira might just have another stinker, or Macy will finish her. I hope Macy Chiasson finishes Ketlen Vieira, and it's not an absolute stink fest, but we will see for sure. I just don't trust Ketlen Vieira at all. I don't like her. I just don't even like her MMA abilities, honestly. And when you watch Ketlen Vieira, it's just, you know, she kind of just tight guard, shell up, like just one of those really awkward maneuvers. She's not dangerous. I don't think she can finish Macy Chiasson unless she wraps her up in some random choke. It is possible, but I would be quite surprised. I'm going to go Macy Chiasson to get this one done. Not too sure how she will get it done, most likely by decision, but she might be able to find a finish over Ketlen Vieira. We move on, though. Dustin Jacoby versus Bruno Lopez. Solid matchup, honestly. Solid matchup. Bruno Lopez is kind of getting the Jacoby test early in his career. You know, he's 14-1, just won in the against Magomed Sulov, I think it was, and it was a good win, good unanimous decision. Took his O, and Dustin Jacoby coming off that great win over Vitor Petrino. Nasty right hook straight down the pipe, knocked him out cold. Beautiful KO by Dustin Jacoby. Really nice stuff. And this is a good matchup to make. I do think it's going to be close, and I was leaning Bruno Lopez initially. It's tough because I think Bruno Lopez could somehow get this one. He could squeeze it out by just holding Dustin Jacoby up against the fence, excuse me. But kickboxing wise, striking wise, Dustin Jacoby's so much cleaner. So much cleaner, right? I mean, Bruno Lopez got KO'd by Brenson Ribeiro in Dana White Contender Series. Dustin Jacoby, I think, would beat Brenson Ribeiro. I'm going to go Dustin Jacoby, man. I don't think he's going to KO Bruno Lopez like early. I think it might be a late KO if it is. If this fight does end by knockout, I think it'll be Dustin Jacoby late round 2, early round 3 TKO. But I think Dustin Jacoby will get this one done. Bruno Lopez, this is just a bit too early for him. He is stocky. You know, he doesn't have the most power in his hands, but he is pretty good. He is pretty effective, and he is able to clinch up against the fence. But I think in the apex, this actually benefits Dustin Jacoby. He'll be able to get in closer in striking range, be able to land those close shots, those kicks, those body shots, those head shots. I think he'll be mixing it up really well, stuffing Bruno Lopez's takedowns, and I think he will win this fight. He has been taken down a bit, but I think he will get this one done. I'm going to go Dustin Jacoby by either late round 2, early round 3 TKO, or by decision, man. We move on to the feature bout. Billy Ray Goff versus Ramiz Brahimaj. Oh, all right, there it is. Billy Ray Goff, Ramiz Brahimaj. This was a rescheduling, and it was a switch of opponents for both guys, actually. Billy Ray Goff's opponent, I forget his name, Ko, and Ramiz Brahimaj's opponent, Oban Elliott. Unfortunately, both of them had to pull out due to visa issues, and both of them got scheduled to match up against each other in Baku, Azerbaijan, which is pretty cool. But now we got Billy Ray Goff versus Ramiz Brahimaj, which is a good fight. It's a solid fight. I think it's going to be a scrap, and I think it's a good feature fight, honestly, on the Apex. We haven't seen Ray Goff in a minute. But he's always fun, always brings a fun fight. His last fight was a fight of the night with Trey Waters. Really fun fight where Billy Ray Goff arguably could have won that fight, honestly. Very close fight. And Ramiz Brahimaj's last fight got that nice TKO over Mickey Gall in New York. Very nice win by Ramiz Brahimaj. I think this is a close matchup. A lot of people, actually everybody, is siding with Billy Ray Goff. And unfortunately, I got to fade Goff, man. I'm going Ramiz Brahimaj, okay? I'm going Brahimaj. I do like Goff, and I think he is fun and he is dangerous. But I do see that there's some susceptibility in Goff's game, man. I do think that Goff can let himself be pushed forward at times, and I think he can be taken down. And he can be dominated on the ground a bit. I do believe he will be able to get dominated on the ground by Brahimaj. Brahimaj, he pushes a solid pace, very tight and high guard, and he throws some bombs as well. I think this is going to be a scrap in the pocket, and I could see Brahimaj catching Billy Ray Goff and dropping him and finishing him on the ground. Maybe a club and sub. I could see that. I could definitely see a club and sub by Brahimaj over Billy Ray Goff, where Goff, he hasn't been there in a minute. He hasn't been in the octagon in a minute. He had an injury, I believe. And now he's got this, he got the long hair, he's got the braids. I'm not messing with it, man. Something, it's just, this one's a gut feeling. This is a gut feeling that Ramiz Brahimaj is going to finish Billy Ray Goff. So I'm going to go Ramiz Brahimaj by either TKO or a club and sub by Ramiz Brahimaj, man. I'm going to say round 2. Club and sub by Ramiz Brahimaj. We move on to the co-main event, an actually solid co-main, a very solid Apex co-main event. Matus Gamrot versus Ludovic Klein. Does Klein deserve number 7 in the world? No, but the UFC just hates Gamrot, let's be honest. But I'm going Matus Gamrot. I don't care. I don't think Ludovic Klein has what it is, or has what he needs in his tools, in his bag to beat Matus Gamrot. Gamrot's just too much of a gamer, literally. I mean, this guy's nickname is Gamer for a reason. He will grind out this decision. I know he will. And if it's not a decision, he'll probably find a late finish over Ludovic Klein, maybe a submission. I could see a late submission over Ludovic Klein. Klein has been subbed. He got subbed by Nate Landwehr a few years ago. I mean, Nate Landwehr's a 145er. Matus Gamrot's big. He's surprisingly big, actually. 5'10", much taller than Ludovic Klein. Klein is a big 145er and kind of a small lightweight. He's kind of got the Fiziev build. He has the Fiziev build. Not kind of. He has the Fiziev build. Very compact, very dense, and he looks really, really big and strong. But when he matches up against Gamrot, I'm telling you, Gamrot will be bigger. He will be taller. You know, the grinding out of the takedowns is going to be surprising for Klein. Klein gassed out a bit against Nate Landwehr. I think Matus Gamrot's going to gas him out. He'll do good early. Klein will do good early. People will be like, wow, his striking is clean. He's catching Gamrot here and there. But I think Gamrot will stay defensively sound. He'll get the takedowns every time Klein makes a mistake, and I think that'll be just a bit too much. And I think Matus Gamrot will either get a unanimous decision or get a late second or third round submission. I think he could find a sub over Klein after he's tired, after he's been just excuse the language, but wrestle fucked the entire time. And I think Gamrot is going to get this win, man. Somehow, some way, either decision or submission. That's what I'm saying, man. I just think Gamrot is the top of the line. He's beat Arman Sarukian. He's gone to a close decision with Dan Hooker. He's beat a lot of these top guys as well. I mean, you know, he fought, I think he lost to Beneil Dariush, actually, but that was a close fight as well. Like, he's had a lot of very close fights with the top of the division, and he's won the majority of them. He's only lost to 3 guys in the UFC. I don't think he's going to lose to Ludovic Klein. I'd be very surprised if Klein KO'd him. You know, Klein is a very clean, sharp striker, but he doesn't have that power. He doesn't have that it factor. It's the same thing. I honestly compare Ludovic Klein to oh my goodness, I'm forgetting his name, man. I'm comparing Ludovic Klein to Rafael Fiziev. I think they're the exact same. I think Fiziev and Klein are actually the exact same fighter. The build, the style, the fight style, very nice kicks, very nice straight rights, straight lefts down the pipe, but not a lot of power. A little too big for 145, but a little too small for 155, and I think that's the case here. I think Ludovic Klein will lose this fight. I'm going to go with Matus Gamrot by decision or late round submission. We move on, though, to the main event, boys. Aaron Blanchfield, Macy Barber. What a banger. What a banger. No, I'm joking. But I do think this is a good fight, honestly. As an Apex main event, I'd rather have Aaron Blanchfield, Macy Barber in the Apex than have it in some random state in the U.S. I mean, obviously it doesn't change my life, but rather have like a welterweight main event or something, you know, in some other state, some other fight night, than have Aaron Blanchfield, Macy Barber. So in the Apex, not a bad fight, honestly. Aaron Blanchfield, very great wrestler, good at grinding out decisions, you know, just tiring you out on the ground. Macy Barber, pretty sharp striker, got some decent power. Early in her career, she had a 4-fight knockout streak. You know, she even knocked out Jillian Robertson. But now later in her career, she's kind of losing that power, losing that, you know, it factor that she had kind of to get those finishes. She hasn't gotten a knockout in a minute. Her last one was against Amanda Ribas. That was a pretty nice knockout with the elbows, but I don't think she's going to have a chance to finish Aaron Blanchfield here. And I think that's her only chance to beat Aaron Blanchfield, because otherwise Blanchfield will just carry on as the fight goes on. This is Macy Barber's first 5-rounder. Blanchfield will take her into deep water. She will drag her down. I didn't realize it was Macy Barber's first 5-rounder, and she is a good striker, but that's about it. She was taken down by Andrea Lee. She was held down by Andrea Lee. She went to a split decision with Andrea Lee. I hate to compare it to her old fight with Andrea Lee, but like Erin Blanchfield is levels above Andrea Lee, and her wrestling is phenomenal. I mean, she had a bad performance against Manon Fiorot, but we just saw her fight for the belt. She didn't win it, but Erin Blanchfield needs to be outsized, out physicality to lose a fight, and that's what Manon Fiorot had. She was much bigger, much more physical, much more marching forward, stomping forward, fee fi fo fum forward, if you want to call it that. But Erin Blanchfield, man, I think she's got this one in the bag. I think this is calling for an Erin Blanchfield decision or submission. I think she'll get a decision, though. Most of her fights, her 5-rounders, have gone the distance. Her past couple have. So I'm going to go Erin Blanchfield. But I also like Blanchfield's win over Rose Namajunas. It was a solid win. Very, very solid win. And she beat her by decision, unanimous decision at that. And she slowed down Namajunas, got the takedowns, even was striking on the feet with her and doing pretty well. I think she'll be able to strike on the feet with Macy Barber easily, man. I think she will strike with Barber easily. And I think when it goes to the ground, it's just going to be a level of difference there on the ground. I think Erin Blanchfield will be much better. She'll have top position. She'll take Macy Barber's back. She'll hold on to her. She'll threaten the submissions. I think she wins this fight 9 out of 10 times. We'll say 9 out of 10 times, but I think this will be one of those times where she wins this fight. So I'm going to go Erin Blanchfield by unanimous decision. What am I saying? Unanimous decision. Jeez Louise, man. All right, but that's the entire full card breakdown, boys. If you did enjoy the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, drop it down in the comments what you guys think about this fight card, and I will catch you boys in the next one. See you.